Welcome, artists. Today we are going to do a study on Picasso. Now, Pablo Picasso, actually, was born in the country of Spain, but he ended up living a large portion of his life in France. And he was a very popular artist. He did not only painting, ceramics, all kinds of different works. And his art really revolved over time. And so there's some really great videos out there online if you are interested in learning more about Pablo Picasso. So today we're going to do the saucepan lesson, I call it. And I love this lesson because it's not perfect. So Picasso is kind of a genius in his own way. He invented cubism, which is kind of where you slice everything up. So you might look at half of my face. My one eye might be down here. My other eye might be pointing that way. So he really took things and sliced them up. And the reason I like that so much is because over the time, I've continued to teach that it's just lines that make shapes and shapes that make form. And so this is a perfect example of that. So we're going to walk through this lesson today. If you need to stop it to catch up, feel free to do so. But it will not be a real long lesson, and then you can enjoy the coloring process. Okay, so let's get started. There's 3 items in our project. There's the candle in the center, the saucepan here, and a nice little vase here. So I always like to start with the center right in there. And so right in here, we have this candle. So the candle shape is the teardrop shape. So I'm actually going to make sure that I'm kind of almost in the middle of my paper. And I'm going to start with that teardrop shape. So you can see that there's a little bit of shadow coming off of there. And Picasso just makes that very simply come out and back. So you should be drawing on a piece of copy paper if you want. You can draw this in pencil and go over it with Sharpie later. You're going to have a lot of different options at your level. You can color it with crayon or colored pencil or Sharpie or marker, whatever you prefer. Alrighty. Inside here is the wick. It's just a little straight line with a dot at the top. So as you're seeing now, we've got this part of the candle done. And we're going to add, coming from where our line intersected our teardrop here, we're going to add a little curve around. Remember, this is inspiration, so is it going to be exact? Most likely not, and that's okay. So then I'm going to add this top part of the candle on. So I'm just going to kind of come down, make it curved at the bottom, and come back up. When I make it curve and not straight, that tells me that the object that I've drawn is roundish. And there's some kind of cute, cool little designs. And I'm just going to take my Sharpie and add a little shadow in there. And you can see on these, this part is black as well. So I'm going to take a minute and color that in for the shadow I can with my Sharpie or my pencil. Okay. This curve around here is the base of the top of the candle that it's stuck in. So then I'm going to draw just a little curve here with a few lines like that for some detail. 3 or 4. There's no right or wrong way. And I can start on this middle base here. So I'm going to come on down straight and straight. So there's a little like knob here. I call it like a knob. In these old-fashioned candles, they kind of had this spot, like a turning thing on them. So I'm going to draw here and a circle right there. Now I'm noticing that my line is not super straight. Maybe it's not as nice as I want it to be, especially since I'm drawing Sharpie. I have to be careful of that. So I'm going to make that correction there. Come in like that and color it in and change that line. And then I'm going to add just a little bit, kind of my own detail here. Remember, this is a inspiration, so it does not have to be exact. Alrighty, let's tackle the bottom of this. So we're seeing just a lot of curved lines. So the first curved line I'm seeing comes like this, and it's going to start a little higher here, okay? It's going to hit the bottom and come down like that. That line is going to get doubled up. Now, you're used to doubling lines up right there and coming to a point. This line now is going to travel up and around. Now, you're going to say, oh, Mrs. Vaccaro, you don't have that connected right here. That's an easy solution. I'm just going to draw that down, connect that a little bit, and then add my circle there. I kind of think about this as like the circular motion is almost like a snake raveled around. So from here, I'm going to come down and connect it again, just like that. Now I am missing one small line, which will tie it in, because this line is coming around the back here. So this line comes around the back and has a small curve right there. And then to end it, we're just going to do simply 3 little lines. One here, one there, and then the last one. Oops. A little out of control, that's okay. It's going to get colored in anyway. Right there. And that is our candle. So now would be a good time to catch up if you need to catch up or change anything that you want to change on that candle. So now we're going to move over to our saucepan here. Really easy shape. So the first line is a straight line and it's kind of at an angle. It's coming down. It's not going straight across. It's coming down at an angle. And then 2 more straight lines and connected. Again, there's really no right or wrong way with this. This is kind of an abstract shape. Sometimes the way that Picasso looked at things was a little different. I drew the outside shape now. I'm going to draw the inside. So I'm going to double that up here and just curve it. And place another curve right there for a little bit of detail if I want it. The bottom here comes straight down. It has to then curve around to there. It could curve, depending on how you're looking at it, all the way up there if you want it to. It doesn't really matter that I have another line in there because, like I said, it's not an exact replica. The handle of the saucepan comes up. And because we're looking at it from the side, we're only going to put the double line halfway. And you're done with the saucepan. So kind of now on to the pitcher. It does look like a pitcher, but it's a little bit off. I like to start with a triangle at the top. So I start with the triangle. It's not a perfect triangle, that's okay. Inside it is a smaller triangle. Now, here's a way to think about it. If you made your triangle really small, you can either put the triangle in this size right here, or you can extend it and make that triangle a little larger if you want. So, want you to think again about the curve line. So this line curves down and around. So watch very closely how I do it. I'm going to come down and around. Every time I do this project, I do it a little bit differently. And then this part here is going to curve up there. And then the last piece to put in is the curve from here up there. It almost looks like the number 8. And then the second part of the handle is right there. With one more curve. So I want you to look at this. So I have this curve here, which is right there. So I'm going to put another curve going in the other direction, which is going to be kind of like the part that you would look through. It's kind of the cool part that makes it a little bit abstract. And then the last thing to do is to put a little base on it. Just like that. Alrighty, great job, everybody. So, and like I said, now is a good time to stop and change anything that you aren't liking. So, I like this project because it allows for us not to draw it perfect, but it also allows us to give it a little reality in the way that we would do a table. So I want us to look at the fact that our table is coming like this. It jumps our project, so, but it's not perfect. In each one of these pictures that he did it a little differently. So I come to my candle, I jump my candle. Come to my saucepan, I jump here, okay? Then I'm gonna come down. Now I don't wanna come just straight across. So I want it to travel up here, and then for this to come back and meet this at some point. Like I said, not interested in it being perfect, I'm just interested in defining a space. Okay, so then we're going to put a leg down here, a leg here, and a leg here. Those are our straight lines down. Alrighty, so let's define this table. I'm just going to come up straight, over, and down, showing that this is the side of the table here. This is the background. And then same thing here. I'm just doubling this line up. Right like that. And we're done. So virtually at your level that you're at, you can draw this and color this project any way that you particularly want. You do have to, however, think about some key factors. Rhythm and color, and reusing the colors. So that means if I color the handle here, kind of turquoise, I need to pick other areas here to also color turquoise. In fact, I need to color 3 areas because that would be the rhythm. 1, 2. Can I make it 4? Yes. But you have to have at least 3. And then if I want to switch to another color, I can. Now, I love it when my students say, do I have to color it all? Yes, you do. I might put just a little bit of blue in that candle. Now, it's interesting because his candles are all white and his candle holder is gold. Now, I'm just using crayons because that's all I've got at home, which is totally fine. So I'm just going to use a yellow here. But part of me wants to make that top yellow, and so tonight I'm just going to do it. Now, I do want the table to be a little bit different, so I really like his choice in the table, but it's not all the same color. So remember, we want things to look more than one dimension. So I'm going to start off with coloring the legs with a brown crayon. And then I'm going to start move with my table and make that red. But these are pretty flat colors, meaning that they're only one color. And a table wouldn't necessarily, if it was wood, it would be more than one color. So in the table, I'm going to add a little bit of brown in there to blend it on the top. I'm going to blend that red in there. And then on the legs, I'm going to take a little bit of crayon and go here. And then, I don't know, kind of feeling like this little like green. So you can choose a color for your background. Remember, this is inspirational. So I'm just coloring some green here and here and here and here. I might want to add a little yellow into that to bring out that yellow that I had. But if you want to do your background pink or purple, that's going to be your choice today as far as what kind of background you want on your picture. And then to add a little bit more, I'm going to go back to that turquoise. Kind of in a turquoise mood. I did leave some pieces of it white, and that's fine. There are white pieces in there. You could also go in and just color very lightly if you think that the white is too bright. And there you go. There is Picasso. Thank you for joining me this evening, and I hope to see you again soon. And I hope that you will take it upon yourself to investigate a little bit more about Picasso. Feel free to send me your pictures. I'd love to see them. And have a great week.